because I had that built up quite so hard.
Yeah, wow. That's what happens when you take a week
had
off.
to combine 2 jams at once.
Man.
To make up for lost jam.
Oh, lost jam is very sad. Like when the butter lands jam side down.
Has that ever happened?
Wait, are you putting jam in your butter?
Did I say butter? Because I meant bread.
Yeah, you
did,
totally
but
said
you
butter.
said butter, and it was funnier, so I went with it.
Hello again, and welcome back to another fun-filled episode
You were really out of practice.
of Monday Night Magic here on the MTG Cast Network. I am Chewie, and I'm really out of practice because we did not record last week because we were out watching The Hole in the Sky. It was a big hole.
Yeah, you had to put a moon in it.
In the sky. Yes. I am joined by everyone's favorite Lucio Ball striking goblin, Squee.
Butter, 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 butter train.
And everyone's favorite soon-to-be a giggling idiot, Cluze.
Soon? And a big hello to everyone in the greater Michiana area, specifically in the area around South Bend, Mishawaka, alive with pride.
Dude, what state is that?
There's going to be like 7 people who get that last reference to actually listen to the show. I don't think 7's actually. If you get that last reference, go ahead and send a tweet to @themanapool.
That is not at all going to tell him who that is or where that is.
No. Well, I don't want to give it away for the people who didn't actually get that reference.
Fair enough. So,
Show enough.
This is episode 574 of Monday Night Magic. And yeah, sorry we didn't record last week, but the whole eclipse thing, the trip happened, and everyone was exhausted and miserable and tired and dying, and only one thing happened. So we decided to just take the week off.
It seemed right.
Yeah. And the one thing that happened, it turns out, was Grand Prix Denver, where 1,188 people were there to play Standard.
They were high.
They're mile high, in fact.
That's right.
Because, Denver has a high elevation. And
He's our friend and a whole lot more. Wait, what?
Wrong Denver.
I
think that was the right Denver.
I think he's right. I made that reference to my wife the other day, and she had no idea what I was talking about. Looked at me like I was crazy. Yeah, I know. Thing is, I am crazy.
Okay, quick aside. There's a card in Hearthstone called The Last Kaleidosaur. It's the Paladin quest from Journey to Ungoro. When you complete the Last Kaleidosaur quest, you get Galvadon. And Brian Kibler has been playing it on stream, and Brian Kibler's wife actually recorded a song, Galvadon, The Last Kaleidosaur. He's got stealth and a whole lot
and a whole lot more.
Yeah.
All right. Is there a YouTube clip of this?
He's not that bad if you don't die turn 4. Anyway, and possibly, I don't know. Anyway, let's go. So, Brad Nelson won
again.
GP Denver. Yeah, again.
This is just what he does lately.
Yeah. Have you noticed that Brad goes on streaks? Like he goes on a horrible tear and destroys everybody, and then you don't hear his name for 6 months. Just.
Do you think he's qualifying and then doesn't have to anymore? Something weird?
Maybe. I don't know.
I don't know. It just seems like his name is the most common one that pops out on top 8 lately.
Yeah, lately. In second place, we have. Oh, wait, no, this is Standard. We still about what he's playing. Hang on. He was playing a Teamer Energy deck that I cannot find. Brad Nelson, here it is. Which, it's the Teamer Energy deck. It's got Glory Bringers and Ronus, but other than that, it's
Dagron.
Sky Sovereign or Sky Sovereign 2. But still, it's Team Energy deck. So in second place, we had his buddy, Brian Bronduin. Hey, look at BBD in second, playing the exact same deck.
Synergy bonus.
Same 75.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, I thought you were kidding around, and then I flipped between the 2 decks, and the only thing that changed was the person's name.
Yeah. Wait till we get to fourth place. But first, we have third place, where John Rolfe was playing Ramanop Red. Hey, look at that.
Ooh, I like the sound of that.
Yeah, the mono red deck, even though the meta shifted against it, it didn't completely destroy it. And look, here it is in third place. We've got, it's Ravenop Red. There's really not terribly much to say.
Yeah.
It's running, this is the 12 spell version with 2 Chandra and 22 creatures, as opposed to the ones with less spells and more creatures. But yeah, little red dudes that punch you in the head. Nice. So in fourth place, do what?
I said it's got a braids.
It does have a braid, yeah.
Yeah, it's because there's multiple of them. Not braid. That's never
four
mind.
of them. And not braids, because she's not legal in standard.
That was the joke I was making. It's got a braids. See, because they're never mind.
Pretty sure braids is also not allowed in Disney World.
And anyway, so in fourth place we have Corey Baumeister. Baumeister? Do we ever figure out how to say Corey's name?
If we did, we will intentionally get it wrong.
True. This is, Corey. This is Brad Nelson's brother. Yes, they both made the top 8 2 weeks in a row. Damn.
They made a point of talking about this.
Yeah. They're also playing, he's also playing the same 75 cards as Brad and Brian, so.
Popular choice.
Seems good. So in fifth place, we have Colin Roundtree playing Zombies. Zombies.
Zamboni.
The one that's good against the red decks. So there you go.
Was it a Cranberries song?
Yeah.
Okay.
Zombie. Yeah. In.
He wasn't ready for that.
He really wasn't.
I really wasn't. Okay.
In sixth place, Sam Pardee is playing a more different Ramanop Red. This is the 10 spell, no Planeswalker, 26 creature variant.
Shocking.
Yeah, 4 of those.
Excellent.
See, I was following that time.
Yep. Thank you.
You are welcome.
Tip your waitress.
I made my own food, so tip me.
Tip yourself.
In 7th place, wait, did I say 6th place was Sam Pardee? Yeah. In 7th place, Gregory, how do you say that? Michelle?
I just do it wrong.
Gregory Mitchell is running the white-blue monument deck. Look at that.
And he is from Krypton.
I don't
That's
get it.
profiling.
Oh, Mitch L.
He's part of the house. Yeah, he's part of the House of L.
Got it. I was like, white blue monument. What's that got to do with Krypton? Oh, no.
Yep. No.
I was just slow. I'm sorry. And then that was 7th place. In 8th place, who have I not read yet? This one, Zachary K.
The second.
Zachary.
Hennies.
It's Kiihne. I have no idea how to pronounce that. I'm sorry.
It's K the second. Hennies.
That's terrible.
Best I got, man.
I'm gonna go with Kinds.
Yeah, Keens, Peachy Keen. Zach is running Ramanop Red. This is the 8 spell, 4 Planeswalker 23 creature version. Wow, 4 Chandras. Damn.
Monkey token.
Get in there. Yeah, and they're all rocking multiple copies of Kari Zev Skyship Raider, who is a pirate. Hold on to that. It will be important later.
I hope so.
No, it will. That's a thing.
Oh, I know it's a thing. I'm just hoping that it pays off.
So, yeah, Standard seems to be not terrible, thank goodness. Here we go. Mark Calderaro.
Canyonero.
Mark, threw up the day 2 metagame here. There were 33 Ramanop Reds. At 7 and 2 or better. 25 zombies, 10 Mardu vehicles, 10 Teamer Energy, which, you'll notice that 3 of those made the freaking top 8. Wait, no, that's Teamer Energy with Scarab God. There were only 9 Teamer Energies without the Scarab God, and 3 of those made the top 8. Huh. And then from there, there's more stuff, including 28 other. But when I say more stuff, I mean 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 other archetypes, and then the other category. So it seems like it's looking good. And thank goodness.
For Chef Boyardee.
I don't know if I'd thank goodness for that, although it does mean I can eat cheaply with my broke ass.
Helps.
Ugh.
I don't think that you should be eating with your ass.
Look, I don't tell him what to do with his ass. Why should you?
All right, you guys, stop putting links in the chat and pay attention.
I'm still paying attention.
Can't it be both?
No. Okay, here we go. Breaking down the other Oh, wow. Look at this. In the top moments, breaking down the other, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Not done yet. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 decks in the other category. Damn.
I thought there were 28. No?
Well, some of them have.
That was the starting 7 or 2, but okay, never mind.
Yeah, some of them have 20. Have 2 people playing them on day 2.
Gotcha.
So yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on in Standard right now. It's not miserable anymore. Thank goodness. Spoiler alert, nothing was banned.
Woo!
So you too can enjoy this Standard for about 3 or 4 weeks. Now that it works. And then rotation will happen and it will not matter.
Wait, are things going to rotate after this?
Yeah.
See, since they changed how it worked and then changed it back, I have no clue.
Yeah, we're back to just fall-only rotation. So very soon, Battle for Zendikar and Return to Innistrad or whatever, Shadows of Innistrad, all that stuff goes away.
Okay, so Shadows and Zendikar are both rotating out when Ixalan comes out. Right. Got it. At least it's good right now, right?
Yeah, got there.
Sick. Okay then, so that was GP Denver. Standard looks good. Nothing is terrible. Everything does not suck. Everything is not broken. Excellent. Okay, so moving on. We've got more Grand Prix. Now that
we move on to the actual most recent weekend.
Yes, because this weekend we had GP Indianapolis with 1,169 people playing Limited. Yep.
Awesome.
What flavor of Limited was this?
Hour of Devastation Limited.
There you go. I was hoping Cluze would be like Kaladesh, right, or something, but no.
No. I wouldn't have said that. I would have said
remember Kaladesh's name.
I would have said the broken Egyptian one because we broke Egypt. Well, it wasn't really.
What do you mean we? Are you on Bolus?
I just say it wasn't really us. It was more Bolus. Bolus broke Egypt.
So let's see. Since it's limited, there's not much to talk about, but we'll tell you the top 8. So hey, look, Andrew Cuneo won. How about that?
Oh, good on him.
I think I recognize that name.
Yeah, you probably should. I mean, you should recognize a few of these names. In second place is Kyle. I'm so sorry. I heard how to pronounce his name and then it fell off. I'm going to say Kyle Bugamus. I legitimately have no idea. Third place, Steve Rubin. In fourth place, Andrew the Funkhauser. And I don't know if anyone calls him that, but I did.
Well, we do here for tonight at least.
Yes. In fifth place, Christopher McCord. Sixth place, Michael Peretz. Peretz? Let's go with that one. Seventh place, Richard Ritchie. And in eighth place, Ellie Cassis. All played well and made the top 8 in the limited thing.
All playing limited.
Yes.
This is what we call a 40-card meta.
So there you go. That's that. In the other event, hang on, I lost it. In GP Metz, METZ, which is apparently in France. But I relied on Wikipedia for that, so there's no telling if that's accurate or not. There were 1,485 people playing. That's a lot of people.
Yeah.
Not a small number.
That is not, in fact, a small number. So, who won? Francesco Frito Hugani. This guy won.
Yay.
Yay. In second place, Martin Juza. Hey, look at that. That's another of those names I recognize.
Should.
Yeah. In third place, I really hope that these placements are in order. I just realized that it doesn't have the, first, second, third listed here. They're just there, but it looks like this is right. So, okay, in third place, we have, let's go with Heiko Lehnert. Yes. In fourth place, Theophile Delavy? Theophile Delavy? Dude, I'm so sorry. I don't know.
We make no pretense of knowing how to pronounce any of these names.
Yes. I can't even get the American names right.
That is accurate.
That was fourth. In fifth place, we have Elias Clocker. In sixth place, Mitchell Manders. In 7th place, Christopher Larson. And in 8th place, Wolfgang Bach. That's a cool name. So there you go. These guys also played Limited.
Yep, still a 40-card meta. A lot of people played a lot of basic lands. That's
Bold move.
good. It is.
Yeah, and some of them played Deserts.
I mean, it's just a desert meta.
It really is, yeah. In fact, looking at the top 8... Oh, wait, no. The 8th place is playing no Deserts.
Off-meta decisions are bold.
Yeah, but everyone else looks to be playing at least a Desert. So there you go. There's how you win.
Yep, dominating the metagame.
Yeah, you play Deserts, you win. All right, then. So enough of that.
Yeah.
Huzzah.
What
We've got
else?
tournaments.
No, we're not done with tournaments yet.
Oh.
What?
So if you are at all interested in the regional PTQ, regional Pro Tour qualifier deck lists, then you should check out the link in the show notes where we have the tournament attendance and links to deck lists. They're all over the place. Good Lord. We're not going to tell you about these.
No turnout in Guatemala City.
Yeah, there was an RPTQ of 8 people.
It fired.
I was going to say, at least hey, there was one in Raleigh.
Did it fire?
There were
It
49
did. There
people
were 49 people, yeah.
Oh, dude, I should have. No, it was.
Wait, no, it was an RPTQ. You couldn't go.
Yeah, that's why I can't go.
Yeah.
Never gonna go.
So there you go. Like I said, if you're interested in that, links are in the show notes. Why is this link here? Who put this here? Bill did. Bill, why do we have a link to upcoming coverage?
Because they don't cover everything, and the upcoming coverage here included some information about Nationals Weekend buried at the bottom of the reason.
Oh, okay. So, Denver, got it. Indian Mets, got it. Okay, so September 2nd and 3rd, we're going to have GP Turin in Washington, D.C. Both of those will be going on. Both will have live video. And, yeah, so could check that out on Twitch. And then we have Nationals. Nationals weekends kick off September 9th through the 10th and 16th and 17th. And they will be broadcasting some of those.
And October 14th and 15th.
And I like the way the first paragraph does not mention the October 14th and 15th one.
No,
that's so far away.
I appreciate how it's Japan, then England, then a new set comes out, so everybody drops what they're doing. And then we come back in October for U.S. Nationals.
Yes.
You know, after a set comes out in rotation.
So, there you go.
Yeah, there wasn't much to it, but it was just a matter of coverage. So there you go. Neat.
Sure. And then if you want lots more information about Nationals, there's a link in the show notes for that as well. Like a lot. It's the tournament overview stuff. So you want to play Nationals? Well, you better go read this first. Just saying. That's in the show notes.
It's like a good idea.
Yeah. Okay, so now we get to the good stuff. Banned and restricted update.
Bam!
Bam! Standard.
Sensei's Divining Top is still banned.
Yes.
That's true.
Yes! Excellent. Carry on.
So, since Standard was a dumpster fire for a long time, and then they put it out, there were no changes. Yay! Modern. Seems good. No changes. Yay! Legacy. Dead format. No changes. Yay!
Whoa.
What?
Whoa.
What? I love you.
Okay.
Vintage. Even more dead format. 3 changes. What?
Yup.
So yes, they have done some things. They have restricted in Vintage Thorn of Amethyst.
Yeah, I could see how that might be a thing you'd want to do.
Well, I mean, workshop decks do sort of own the world.
Well, isn't it also just a problem when you have a format that has Moxen? So the first person puts down a Thorn and then the other person doesn't get their first turn on nearly the same level?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. Didn't they restrict something else for similar reasons recently?
I believe so. I think that's why I was remembering the interaction.
Okay, I thought so.
Like, all of those effects that make it so that going first means that you can lock your opponent out of a similar first turn, and therefore put them in, they're playing a format that's not Vintage and you're playing Vintage. Kind of messed up. So, I do not blame them at all for deciding this is restricted.
Yeah. And mainly it's to keep the shop's decks in check, because shop's decks specialize in that very thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So they've also restricted Monastery Mentor. Wow.
Yeah, still seems like a good idea.
Yeah,
Don't you love when cards
remember-
printed in the last few years get restricted in Legacy?
Vintage.
Vintage. Yeah, we
Vintage, sorry.
don't restrict.
We don't
Legacy.
restrict things in Legacy. They actually ban stuff there.
Like Sensei's Defining Top.
All right.
right.
Eventually.
It takes a while.
So yeah, Monastery Mentor. This really good white creature that when it was printed, we were like, oh, it makes tokens. Oh god, those tokens have prowess. What?
It adds up.
And it has
Really
basically
does.
lived in Vintage ever since.
Yeah, in a world of spells that effectively cost nothing. Really
Yeah.
easy to make that a mess.
Yeah. So their reasoning is because it is the best win condition for blue decks. So
So this white card is the best win condition for blue decks.
You and I both know colors only kind of matter in Vintage.
Yeah.
So if you're going to be playing one of these blue decks, then you're playing Monastery Mentor, because while there are other options, they are all inferior as far as win conditions go. So they're restricting Monastery Mentor to open up the win condition options so that people will, can play things other than Monastery Mentor.
It's time for food chain goblins.
It very well could be.
Totally.
But that's not all. Wizards' Banhammer giveth, after it taketh away. So they've unrestricted, of all things, Yawgmoth's Bargain.
Seems fine.
Yeah.
No,
So-
it doesn't.
They were looking at this, and they said, we'll either bring back Yawgmoth's Bargain or Windfall. Because since they were restricted, things like Grillbren have been printed. So it's probably safe. Windfall is more brutal. Windfall is much more brutal. And it's blue. So let's just not do that. So they started with Yawgmoth's Bargain.
Seems right.
Yeah, seems fine. But also, oh, look, there's an actual editor's note here. They went ahead and made these changes to Vintage now because Eternal Weekend is very close to the next ban and restricted announcement date, which is October 17th. When is Eternal Weekend? Eternal Weekend
Cluze.
17, thank you. It is 10. Oh, it's the following weekend.
I don't blame them.
So
for
10/19
that.
to 10/22.
That is pretty close.
Yeah, so rather than restrict things, potentially change the format on a Monday for the biggest tournaments of the year, less than a week later, yeah, it seems like a good call. So good on you, Wizards, for not only doing that, for pointing out, yeah, we know, we fixed it, we're doing it now. So there you go. Remember, October 17th. Wait, is that a Monday? October 17th is a Tuesday. Okay. And then the event starts Thursday. Okay, so 2 days later.
That would be especially brutal. if
Yeah,
they
that
were
would
to do
be
that,
absolutely god-awful. So yeah,
considering
good
this
call.
is going to impact decks very directly.
Why is the next BNR update on a Tuesday?
Solomon Gru's Day. I don't know.
Oh,
Banned on a Tuesday.
And it want pants too.
Yeah, dude. Oh, I want a seahorse. Okay, so
We need more ties.
how about what is next? Okay, I guess we should talk about Ixalan then, huh?
Yeah.
Yes,
I
I mean
think
it
it's
does
time.
have a good balance of pirates and dinosaurs, which are admittedly the two food groups of entertainment.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, if it had ninjas, we would just never have to have another set again.
We use too many up and coming.
Also, there's that, yeah.
Law of conservation in Ninjutsu is a thing.
Yeah, if they print too many more, then they'll all be bad.
Got there.
Mm-hmm. So
hey,
then,
mechanic.
yeah, we've got mechanics. We've got the we've got the leak thing. Let's actually start with the leak thing. So, when was
Oh,
this?
okay.
This was ever ago.
A few months ago, quote unquote.
Oh, it does say a few months ago. Yeah, so I think it was not long after they told us about Ixalan. there was an uncut sheet that of Ixalan that appeared on the internet, and that was bad. Now, since we here on Monday Night Magic do not condone unofficial spoilers, we did not even acknowledge them. In fact, I never even looked at it because I don't want to know.
Yep,
Yeah,
neither did I.
Yeah, we legitimately didn't know these things. So when people would be like, "You going to talk about thing?" I'm like, "I don't know what that is," and no.
Yeah, I knew what it was, and no. So, yeah, there's actually been a statement about it from Scott Kelly, who is the vice president of creative and production studios.
Which it is pretty rare, we should say, for WotC to comment at all about these sorts of things. That anytime there's, an unofficial spoiler or an image to pop up or a possible leak, WotC usually says absolutely nothing.
Yes.
Which makes sense.
And they actually explain that too in this write-up here.
That was the segue I was going for.
Oh, okay. Where they don't want to start reacting to all the rumors and whatnot that they see, because if there's a rumor and Wizards goes, well, that's not it, and then there's another rumor and Wizards doesn't say anything, then that's Wizards saying yes.
And whether or not it's true, that's what people will read it as, so they don't want to deal with that.
Exactly. So Wizards usually just goes, la, can't hear you, which is probably the right response. But due to this uncut sheet being released to the public, they have altered the way that never-ending preview season works, and they've just given us all of those cards just like, blah, just right here.
Pray they do not alter it further.
Yeah. So that's really neat. So all of these cards that people have been looking at for the last couple months, and even the ones you couldn't quite make out on those pictures, well, we've got them all for realsies and serious now, so yeah. And, I mean, is there anything else to say, really? Apparently the person in question who did leak these has been captured.
Yeah.
Yes. And because it is going through, legal investigation, they will probably never tell us about this again.
Yeah, probably not.
So don't be that weirdo who asks questions about it.
Yeah, don't go over to Morrow's blog and be like, hey, can you tell us this guy's name? No, they won't. Shut up. It's a dumb question. Stop it.
They won't, and they can't.
Also, they did make a point of saying a big thank you to everyone who saw the pictures of the uncut sheet, said, ooh, that's probably shady, and contacted Wizards.
Yeah.
They appreciate that.
Yeah, apparently they were aware that the sheet was stolen before it actually made its way onto the internet. But by the time they managed to find this guy, it was too late. Whoops. But oh well, if you'd like to see all these cards, there's the link in the show notes, or by the time you're hearing this, it's possible the card image gallery is up already, so you can just go look at them there.
Right.
So there you go. But now we've got mechanics.
Mike and the mechanics.
Yep. All I need is a miracle.
No, those are banned.
What? No, just the deck.
In standard.
I hate you. So, what have we got for mechanics, you guys? I've been talking this entire podcast. You guys do something.
Enrage!
Anger. No, I'm feeling pretty good, actually.
Oh, too bad.
Oh.
Dinosaurs may be enraged.
Ooh.
I don't know, dude. In the odds and ends, you were swearing an awful lot.
Yeah, but I got that out of my system. Everything's good now.
Oh, you're good now. Got it. Okay.
Yeah. All right. So, Enrage. I'm just going to read one of these cards to you so you can get a sense of the context. So,
all right.
Sun Crown Hunters. 4 red. Common. Dinosaur. 5/4. Enrage. Whenever Sun Crown Hunters is dealt damage, it deals 3 damage to target opponent.
Nice.
I like.
Yeah. So that's a fun way of getting damage through if it's blocked. It's a fun way of getting damage through when you block with it. And there's probably going to be some dumb broken combo involving it and a repeatable ping effect.
There probably will be.
Hopefully not in standard, though.
Presumably.
Because that would be stupid.
Presumably.
But then, 2-card infinite combo that they missed. So,
Yeah, well, we'll
in
see what
conclusion, rar.
That is what it says on the page.
That's great. I love that.
So that'll be a fun aggro mechanic that will hopefully feature on creatures that cost less than 6. I believe it will.
So we've got factions. Apparently we've got the Sun Empire, who has dinosaurs.
I mean, that would make me join an empire, admittedly.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah, I could see that.
And these are like neat feathered dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Proper dinosaurs.
Cool.
We've got the Brazen Coalition, who are pirates,
Yes.
and they have Raid.
Raid.
There it was.
Someone was going to do it, and I knew it was Cluze.
Yep.
So, you remember Raid? We determined...
I actually don't.
Oh, we determined before the show started that Raid came from Khans of Tarkir.
Yeah.
Because, occasionally we do research here on the show.
What?
So what is Raid, their Cluze?
All right, so to exemplify Raid, let's discuss Deadeye Tormentor, who costs 2 and a black for a 2/2 human pirate. It's a common. Who has Raid. When Deadeye Tormentor enters the battlefield, if you attacked with a creature this turn, target opponent discards a card.
Yeah.
Take that.
Yeah. So Raid is a...
So Raid cares if you attacked, so we're going to encourage you to be all kinds of aggro. So turn your dude sideways.
And
Doesn't matter if you connect, just attack. That's all we care about.
Raid decks, back when we had them before and they were Mardu, tend to get a bit understandably aggressive because you have this extra incentive to attack over what you would normally do. And oftentimes these cards chain together to offset the downside of having no blockers. So that may very well be the case again.
Let's hope so.
And you just have to attack, period. We don't care how many you attacked with. Could be one, could be all your dudes. This doesn't trigger multiple times. If it was multiple dudes, it just asks, hey, did you attack with anybody? You did? Great. Trigger.
Yeah. That is how that works.
So yeah, attack with an Ornithopter. That's fine. You don't have to connect. You don't have to do any damage. You just have to attack.
They could kill it as soon as...
they could kill it before declare blockers. It's still attacked.
Yeah.
That's right. Once it has been declared as an attacker, check.
Sick. All right. Another faction we have is the River Heralds.
There was another card in that with a little thing that they've got going on, right? Did you see the Prosperous Pirates?
Oh, okay, sure. So another thing in the...
they don't...
Because we're not going to read all these preview cards. Another thing in the Pirates faction is Treasure. Treasure is an artifact token that says tap, sacrifice this, get 1 mana of any color. It's sort of like the gold...
I guess so it's just gold.
Yeah, it is gold, isn't it? Was gold 1 mana of any color? It was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I believe it was, yeah.
It's gold. Some other mechanics may do things with it, but by itself, it's pretty much gold.
Yeah. So there you go. So another faction we have are the River Heralds, who are the merfolk.
I miss Elspeth.
And
way to make a jump, buddy.
Yeah, sorry, the gold reminded me. I'm sorry, go on.
All of Elspeth's cards were white.
Yeah, but...
You're thinking of... Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Didn't she die back in the...
Theros.
Theros, which is where we had gold?
Anyway, so, merfolk have things, but they don't have a named keyword, so no.
Man, I'd tell you what merfolk have, but you don't want to have to edit, so...
Okay, so then we have the Legion of Dusk, who are vampires, and they also don't have a named keyword, so they deal with life totals.
So you're not actually going to describe what exploring does?
That's next.
He's not there yet. He's going in order.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm going down.
Curses. I'm sorry. Go on.
Anyway, so then we have another, what's this? Keyword action is explore. 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 Repair. Repair. This is first episode of the original Transformers cartoon. Okay, so Explore is a new... I actually have not read this. I completely missed it. So here's the explanation here, or the example. Tishana's Wayfinder. 2 and a green for a 2/2 Merfolk Scout. That's common. When it enters the battlefield, it explores.
Yeah.
Hello, little piece of cardboard. Could you wander around for me? So, if a creature you control explores, you reveal the top card of your library. If the revealed card is a land, representing your creature finding some new territory you can check out, you put it in your hand. If it's not a land card, it comes back empty-handed. So let's read the actual rules text. Reveal the top card of your library.
Whoa. You're reading the reminder text, not the rules text. I want to be clear about that. Go on.
Right, wrong word, my bad. Reveal the top card of your library. Put that card into your hand if it's a land. Otherwise, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature, then put the card back, or put it into your graveyard.
You get a choice.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's like a weird interaction of scry and maybe land.
And pump.
And the pump
Yeah.
you're just getting, as long as it's, not a land. So
I'm
one
going
way
to
or
call
another-
this is Scry ++.
Okay, wait. So you reveal the top card. If it's a land, it just goes into your hand. And if it's
Right,
not a
and
land,
now you're done.
you get a +1/+1 counter on that creature or whatever. And you choose whether that goes back on top or into your graveyard.
Yep.
That seems really good.
It really does.
But not
You
like
should-
busted good, but like really good.
Now, you shouldn't call it scry ++ because your opponent gets to see the card.
Yeah, okay. That's fair.
That's an important distinction. They can see what you're choosing to put on top or bottom.
Well, not bottom, graveyard.
Oh, sorry, graveyard. Yeah, they can see though the card.
That's
Well, I'm just going to call it going down to Value Town. That's what I'm going to call it.
That's pretty good. Yeah, I like that. Okay, then. And then we have vehicles are back. Because, well, these are ships. Or at least this one's a ship. At least it's not a train.
True, those are terrifying.
Yeah.
It's a schooner.
It's a sleek schooner. It's not a schooner, it's a sailboat.
Schooner Tuna. The tuna with the heart.
So yeah, vehicles work the same way they did before.
Yep. So nothing to see here.
Yep, everything you liked about vehicles, we're still doing it.
Yay. So then, we're not done yet. Oh no.
Nope.
We have double face cards are back.
Unexpected.
Yeah, they worked well. Let's keep doing it.
I like these ones more.
I mean, we've only got one, right?
Well,
Thus far?
specifically, I like this use of a double face card.
It's
Yeah,
pretty
this is
cool.
pretty cool. So hey, Bill, why don't you tell us about it then? You're so smart.
Okay, so I'm just going to start up. This one I think I actually should read the card so that you understand what's going on.
Exactly.
So this is an artifact called Treasure Map. Costs 2 mana. Sweet. Has an ability on it. Pay 1 and tap, scry 1. Put a landmark counter on Treasure Map. Then, if there are 3 or more landmark counters on it, remove those counters, transform Treasure Map, and create 3 colorless treasure artifact tokens with that thing we said before, where you can sack them for mana. So we've transformed it. Sweet. Now, bearing in mind, specifically for this card, it's still tapped, so it transformed tapped. Treasure Cove is on the back. It's a land, and it has tap, add colorless to your mana pool. It also has tap, sacrifice a treasure, draw a card.
That's way better.
Yep, and mind you, this is a land. It's no longer a creature, because it was never a creature. It's no longer an artifact. It's just a land. Yeah.
It's also no longer a planeswalker.
It is, in fact, not tribal. But yes, it is straight up a land. This does not count as your land drop because you didn't play it this turn. And you never played it as a land. It is straight up. This is a way to get 1 ahead on your land and 3 cards ahead potentially off of those treasures. And obviously you can sacrifice treasure other than this one. But again, to reiterate, these are 2 tap abilities, and because the ability that transforms it is part of something that costs 1 and a tap, it will be tapped when it's transformed unless you do something weird. So keep that in mind when you start flipping things over. But yeah, I like this. Also, the art on it is beautiful. This card looks great.
It's not just the art, it's the frame and
amazing
everything.
frame.
Like everything on it is just neat.
Yeah, I like this frame.
There's a lot more room for art. The style of it looks great all the way across the board. And I just think it's clean. The whole thing just feels right. So
And
I really
can't-
appreciate this card.
I can't quite make out the artist's name on this. Is this Cliff Childs?
Cliff Childs, yeah.
Yeah, fantastic work on the lighting here. It looks gorgeous.
Yeah, this is one of those things that will probably end up being a wallpaper of the weekend. It'll actually be worth, getting. So it looks great. But that whole mechanic of it looks great.
It's true. And then we have the bigger thing.
Yep.
So we've got Enrage, we've got Raid returning, we've got Treasure, which is gold, we've got Merfolk and Vampires, we've got Explore, which is really neat, we've got the return of vehicles, the return of double face cards, and none of that is the big news.
Nope.
That's how trippy this is. the big news is we have Pirate Jace.
Yeah. Well, what we really have is romance
No.
novel cover. I mean, just look at it.
Yeah.
Now, look, I gotta admit, this was not. It was not my thought originally, but once I heard it, I'm like, no, I can't anymore. I literally can't.
I look across the bow of the ship and I see him, but I see him as I want him to be, not how he is.
I mean, look,
in my mind, I imagined he is a skull.
Take all of this text off and just put in like a script font, waves of love, and you have a romance novel.
I really appreciate the fact that he is about to get destroyed by a giant sea monster behind him.
No, I think he's controlling it.
Yeah, I think that's his buddy.
Look, this is my fantasy, okay?
That is true.
Okay.
You were the one writing this romance novel in your head.
But yeah, I like how Jace has gone from someone who has an important job to being a private investigator, ignoring his important job, to riding around on a boat, ignoring his important job, after getting his butt kicked, not doing his important job. This is the story of Jace Bellerin, whose main accomplishment right now is having a font named after him.
Started at the bottom now, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if he's gonna go back to Ravnica and find they've just wrecked the place because he doesn't do his job or what.
I assume so.
Legendary Planeswalker Jace.
I'm betting it's overrun with Phyrexians by now.
I mean, if they want to deal with it.
Yeah, anyway, I'm sorry. Let's table the nonsense and get to this nonsense.
So, at some point in the past, we think it was during announcement week, during the whole, hey look, core sets, and everybody went, what? They told us, and I think that's when it was. That makes sense. If we're wrong, let us know. Because I want to know when they told us this. But they told us they were changing the Planeswalker uniqueness rule to fall under the legend rule instead. So before, if you had a Jace the Mind Sculptor, and you played a Baby Jace, a Jace Bellerin, or a Jace Noir, or a Jace the other one, or a Jace the bad one, any of those, then you had to pick which one lived. Because you couldn't have two Planeswalker Jaces out on the board at the same time. It weren't allowed. So, yeah. But now, that's gonna change. Because you'll notice that Jace, Cunning Castaway, his type line says, Legendary Planeswalker Jace.
Shia LaBeouf.
Did you say Shia LaBeouf?
Did. Because of the timing that you did there, I just had to follow it up with Shia LaBeouf. Sorry, go on. I'm sorry.
I don't get it. Why?
Legendary Planeswalker Shia LaBeouf. It just rhymed with actual cannibal in my head. Don't worry about it. So yeah, carry on. I will shut up. This is what happens when we take a week off. We are all a mess.
Like worse than usual.
Way worse.
So yeah, Legendary Planeswalker Jace. And this is all-consuming, and they're retconning Planeswalkers.
That's right.
Now, all Planeswalkers have, once the set comes out and these rules change,
that's
all
right.
Planeswalkers, past, present, and future, will say Legendary Planeswalker and then their type. And that means if you have a Liliana Vess on the board, you can totally play a Liliana of the Veil, and they'll both just sit there and be like, hi. And it'll be very awkward, but it'll be well within the rules. And they're doing away with the Planeswalker uniqueness rule. So now it's just another part of the legend rule.
Yep.
In the same way that you could have an Akroma, I don't remember.
Angel of Wrath, and also an Akroma Angel of Fury.
Yeah. Is it Wrath? I thought there was a Vengeance. Oh, and Akroma's Vengeance is a card. Okay. So yeah, you could have a white Akroma and a red Akroma out, and while it would be flavorfully awkward, it's well within the rules. That's how Planeswalker... Everybody okay?
Yeah, sorry, I dropped something. My bad.
Oh, okay. That's how Planeswalkers will work going forward.
Yep. Which has a few interesting things to think about when you consider older card.
And also the new Gideon emblem.
Yeah, the new Gideon got a lot better just by virtue of this. Because now you can actually have a team of Gideons, and as they are all attacking creatures half the time anyway, it's not going to slow you down that much. And now they have to kill all of them for you to lose. Somewhat more substantial. I would not be surprised in the slightest if suddenly some white Gideon decks popped up because you could Wrath of God and then turn all the Gideons on and attack on a regular basis. Kind of disgusting.
A little bit.
Looking forward to it. Wonderful. But yeah, that also allows them to do new things that they couldn't do before, like one of the effects on this card.
Oh yeah, we should actually read Jace romance cover Castaway.
Yeah, Jace, Fabio, Pretender.
Yeah, if he actually had even just a little bit longer hair, that would totally... Can we get an Alterous to turn this into Fabio? Somebody?
I hope that is the thing.
Okay, well, what's Jace do, you guys? Hey, there's three of us. I will take the first ability. So, Jace, Cunning Castaway, 1 blue, 3 loyalty. Okay, just like just like old school.
Popular
blue,
choice.
3 loyalty. Plus
Trace
1
for trace.
Plus 1. Whenever one or more creatures you control deal combat damage to a player this turn, draw a card, then discard a card. So if anybody on your team dealt any combat damage to a player, you can loot.
Yep.
Seems fine.
Yep.
It couldn't be straight draw because he's a 3 mana, and that would probably be too good.
It'd be too good on a plus.
Plus, there are probably some graveyard shenanigans they are hoping to buff a little bit, most likely.
Yeah, and blue is an evasive color. I'm sure it'll work.
Yeah, drawing and discarding is totally a thing. So yeah, okay, -2.
I'll read it, because
Okay.
Cluze isn't. All right.
Yeah, I just really want that third ability because I got something to say.
I believe you.
Oh, is it
All right,
better
so-
to burn out than to fade away?
Nah.
Sorry, second ability, go.
Yeah. So second ability, bearing in mind, he starts with 3. So this is a -2 ability, so you can drop him and use that, and he's still around. So create a 2/2 blue illusion creature token with, when this creature becomes the target of a spell, sacrifice it.
Oh,
So-
it's not spell or ability.
Correct.
Look at that. I totally
different.
inserted that.
Which means you're going to be able to create a 2/2, illusion token that can equip things. That can be enchanted.
Cannot be enchanted.
No, not enchanted. Sorry. Yes. Blah. Wrong. Because that is targeting. But it can be equipped. That's an ability.
They can still point some sort of, I don't know, healing thing at it or something to kill it.
Yeah.
That's fine.
They're still fragile, but they're not as fragile as normal. And,
Wow.
if you were to equip something on it that gave it hexproof or whatever, then that actually works now.
Does that mean his time as a pirate has made him create better illusions? It's like, hey, you, I need you to hold this shovel for me, and it blinks out of existence, and he goes, son of a... I gotta get better at this. So he makes
quite
another
possible.
one, and he's like, hey, you, I need you to hold the shovel, and it grabs the shovel and doesn't blink out of existence. He goes, yes, and he goes, high five, and it blinks out of existence. He's like, damn it!
I mean, I like to think that this is because he's staring at them with his rugged, manly looks, and they're like, you know what? For you, I'll stick around.
Hey, that's a Foo Fighters song.
I mean, Jace, Foo Fighters probably in 2 more sets. He's making his way through a lot of jobs here. What we're saying is he doesn't actually go to work. But yeah, that's his -2, so he can make a blocker and not die.
Seems
Important.
good.
Yep. All right, Cluze, have fun with this big one.
All right, then we get to -5. -5 comes in with 3 loyalties. It's going to take a little while unless you're doing like doubling season shenanigans. -5. Create 2 tokens that are copies of Jace, Cunning Castaway, except they're not legendary. All right, so here's the thing. I wanna say a couple of things while we're here about the whole legendary Planeswalker rule shenanigans change up that we've done here. So first, let's start with the positive. Okay, from a rules standpoint, this is very clean. We've taken the Planeswalker uniqueness rule, which was weird. We're just going to throw that away, just crumple it up. We're just going to treat everything under the legend rule. Okay, great. We've got that legend rule. We've used it before. We understand it. We'll just apply it here. There was a pretty big Venn diagram overlap of those 2 things before, so let's just fix that. I like it. I like that it's clean. However, it is like the biggest flavor fail like ever. Okay, now they broke the flavor of it a long time ago when it was okay for both you to have a Planeswalker, like say Jace Cunning Castaway, and I could have Jace Cunning Castaway on the board at the same time. We already have a flavor fail. This just takes that flavor fail to a whole new realm. And then this Jace comes along and goes, you know what? The flavor wasn't broken enough. What if not only there's multiple versions of me? What if I just make copies of literally myself right now? Let's just do that. It'll be great. Love it.
Sounds like something you do.
It does, because he's a jerk. Also, if as was pointed out by someone on Twitter today, if you have the Jace Cunning Castaway and Doubling Season out at the same time, it can create an infinite combo. Because you take the Jace that you have right now, and you -5 him to make 2 copies, but those copies come in with 6 loyalty because of the Doubling Season, and one of the copies makes 2 more copies, the other one makes a blue illusion, and then just keep doing that. Now you have effectively infinite, although you do have to choose a number, 2/2 blue illusions and infinite Jaces.
Yeah.
But then, Doubling Season does stupid things with basically all the Planeswalkers.
Basically all the things.
Yeah, I'm not
yes.
as worried about that one.
No, I was just thinking it was nightmare fuel to have infinite Jaces.
Well, I mean, that's not the world that you want to live in. But
Certainly not.
Although, I don't know. Since it's this particular Jace, he's so dreamy.
Although supposedly, if you look really closely at the artwork, his eyes are all red and he looks baked.
That also does not surprise me. I do have a question about what he's got going on here.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay, his outfit has clearly been ripped, which, that
Yeah.
happens when you're a castaway. That makes sense. But why
But that
does he
happens when-
still have from the elbow down sleeve with the glove on, the one arm?
On the
hell
one
is-
arm, I
What the hell
don't
is that
know.
about?
I assume that is the arm that he uses for convincing other people to handle the rope for him because he's that kind of guy.
I just don't understand what Kieran Yenner was going for there.
So I assume this is actually inspired by some kind of romance novel cover, like not sarcastically.
Oh,
Because when you search for pictures of, castaways and, pirates and ships like that, there's a lot of that to work with in fantasy, whether or not they're actually romance novel covers. That's just, the romantic concept of piracy. So,
Castaway romance books image search.
yeah, I'm curious to see what you find.
Actually, I'm not really seeing anything at all like this with that particular search. Well, that's awkward.
I'm just glad that you're doing that search and
What
not
about
me.
romance novel? No. Maybe I shouldn't search for Castaway because it all seems to be a man and a woman kissing on a beach or something similar.
Try pirate.
Just try pirate.
Try
Try it.
pirate romance novel. Oh God, there's Fabio, and there's Fabio, and there's
There he is.
Fabio.
And there's Fabio, and you get a Fabio, and you get a Fabio.
No, I'm serious. Like 3 of my first 5 are actually Fabio covers.
I believe you.
Okay, here's a
Oh, that's
couple
funny.
of guys holding on to like the ropes and riggings and whatnot. Yeah. Nice.
Cool. So here's a few things to think about now that this rule is actually coming into effect.
Not yet, but will be.
Well, when it comes into effect, yes. As we were talking about the future. First up, Mirror Gallery gets rid of the legend, which now matters for Planeswalkers.
That's a card from Kamigawa Block.
Yes.
1,000 years
There
ago.
are actually several cards in Kamigawa Block that interact with legendary permanents, not just legendary creatures. Empress Galena, a merfolk, gains control of target legendary permanent, which lasts forever. That's pretty funny. Minamo School at Water's Edge untaps legendary permanents, which only matters for a few of them, but it's something. And Yomiji, who bars the way, whenever a legendary permanent other than it put into a graveyard, return it to its owner's hand. So
Ooh.
have fun with those planeswalkers that have nice minus abilities, I guess. There's a lot of room for a mess here, but that's fine because these are Kamigawa cards that all cost a lot. Just be aware that those interactions could be a thing now.
Oh, you mean mana cost?
Yes.
Oh, I was like, none of those cards are expensive, Bill.
No, none of those are expensive, but I mean like 7 mana.
Yeah.
If you were breaking planeswalkers with 7 mana, you weren't paying attention a few minutes ago when we were talking about doubling season and all that. So
Yeah, but it's also, that's just casual nonsense. I severely doubt
it's for
any of
fun
it's-
season. I'm not saying this is strategic. I'm saying these are fun things you can do now.
Yeah, I'm fairly certain that very few of the things you could do to break these cards with the new legend rule will matter in tournament Magic, which means that Wizards is okay with it.
Mm-hmm.
It's fine.
Now, a super important thing that I don't think we've mentioned yet. Although these planeswalkers, all planeswalkers will soon be legendary, this does not mean that legendary planeswalkers can be your commander unless an ability says so.
Right.
So, don't go crazy.
Or until they change the rules of commander to where you can have legendary artifacts or enchantments or planeswalkers as your commander, which I don't see happening in the near future.
Nor do I.
Ha! Caracas can bounce Gideon now.
That's actually hilarious.
Yeah.
That is hilarious. Huh,
Neat.
I wonder if there's going to be a price spike in Karakai.
I doubt it.
Isn't it already expensive enough?
Yeah, it pretty much is.
Just saying it's in color. So anyway, there's some nonsense. It'll be fun. Just be aware.
Yeah.
So now that we've seen Pirate Jace's new booty, shall we move on?
Well, there's the name of the episode.
Okay, that was not intentional.
Oh, yeah. Pirate Jace's new booty. Sounds good. What else is there? So Commander came out on Friday. I know
Yeah.
that would be weird because they revealed it all, and then there were 2 weeks of nothing, and then it came
Yeah.
out, which is really bizarre.
Yep.
But yeah, they're out now. Just saying.
Yep.
Okay, then. On the last episode of the Mana Pool, we did a story circle for Marcel the Pretender, which was hard because does your card have a colon on it? Then it works great with Marcel. It was a problem. Nothing? No? Okay.
I don't know the card.
Marcel's
Yeah,
the
sorry.
one that when it enters the battlefield, you exile a creature or artifact from your hand or graveyard. And Marcel gains, and put a cage counter on it. And Marcel has all activated abilities of all things with cage counters on them.
Oh, okay. I remember that now.
Yeah.
Yeah, colons are important.
Yeah. So it turned into rather than just finding cards that have cool abilities that we want to use with Marcel, how do we, make Marcel work better and things like that. And it was a very bizarre story circle, but we think it turned out pretty well.
Awesome.
Yeah. Okay, then. So, after that, all we really have left is, Rosewater's annual State of Design article happened today. Today? Yeah.
Yeah.
I did not get a chance to read it.
I skimmed over a bit of it. Most of his takeaways were all those things we learned last year, we need to do better this year. So, too much complexity, still too much complexity. They like the fact that they got to do a lot of cool stuff with vehicles. They feel like every time they make an artifact set, they mess up. Still true. I like this line here. Revolt was a mistake. In reference to the mechanic, not Aether Revolt, the set.
Okay.
It's just funny when they say blank was a mistake. Because, yeah, the Revolt mechanic was a little bit harder to keep up with. It didn't work that well with the flavor. And they were disappointed that they didn't just make it red, because Revolt fits in red and it was spread over. So there's that. They, in general, feel like a lot of things had too much going on. In the on Cat block, like there were just a lot of mechanics. There's a lot of stuff that they had to split story over. They feel like they tell the story over too many cards. So they're trying to find a balance there. There were some synergy messes, but in general, they feel like, things are going to go well and that life will be great in the future. Check back next year for more. I may have missed some stuff because I didn't read the whole thing, but I tried to read over the highlights. If you care about Mark Rosewater's views on what he's done over the last year, you can read it.
I still don't know why people liked Eternalize not much, because I thought Eternalize was awesome. Maybe it was the name. Oh, it says this mechanic was a bit more divisive. Oh, okay.
Yeah, whenever they have a mechanic that's essentially a different mechanic, but very similar, just a little tweaked, it tends to not be as popular. Like, you had Morph, and then you had, Megamorph. And
Yeah,
it was
Megamorph was alright. What was the other one called? Manifest.
Manifest, yeah.
Yeah.
You had three mechanics that were very similar, and so eventually they're like, and that's not exciting. Though I think Manifest came out a lot better than Megamorph, because Megamorph was just the same, but with a counter, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of boring.
Little bit, yeah.
Mm-hmm. But yeah.
All right, then. In that case, I guess we should go to Magic Online.
Moto.
10001. Yeah, so Magic Online news pops up on Tuesdays. Because we took last week off, I'm not going to dig that far back in time because most of the weekly news is here are tournaments that are coming up this weekend, which by the time I normally get to them have already passed.
Yep.
So because we record on Monday, this stuff is from last week. Not going to hit you with the stuff that doesn't matter much. Instead, I'm going to focus on the pieces that are still going on now and the things that are upcoming. But if you want to read the whole list, I've got it linked here in the show notes. So last week, they started a flashback standard gauntlet, and they jump back into the tribal decks from Lorwyn. That's still going on for like a day, but I'm not going to really spend a lot of time there because instead, I'm going to talk about the one that's coming because you can actually benefit from the whole discussion on that, which is going to be rather than the tribes and Lorwyn stuff, we're going to go straight to Worldwake, which was a standard that I actually remember and played in. So I can discuss this one a little bit better.
Yeah, hey, I might actually be able to discuss
Cluze is part of this too. We can talk.
Yeah.
So if you're not familiar with them, the Throwback Gauntlets concept is that as a limited Magic Online event, it'll be up for a week. When you decide to jump into it, it will give you a pre-built deck that is one of the major decks archetypes from during that time period. And you'll be playing against other iconic decks from that time period. So you'll get a good sense of what some of them did. And because these are all from, actual recent Magic, all the mechanics should be the same that they were before. So we can actually take a look through all of this nonsense. So Worldwake standard. So Worldwake is known for giving us, this was after Battle for Zendikar came out. No, why did I say that? Original Zendikar.
There you go.
Yeah. I don't know why. I've gotten so used to saying battle that it's plugged into my head. Yep. So, yeah, you've got original Zendikar, and you've got the Alara block before that. Right?
Yes.
Sure.
Yes. Yeah. Because we have...
look at the
Cascade nonsense.
List here.
Yeah. So, this is a format that had incredibly powerful mana bases, both in terms of the ability to go up to 5 color if you need to, and the ability for your land to wreck things because we had, powerful man land. So we'll just start digging our way through this nonsense. So first up, we got Naya. And Naya is rocking a lot of amazing creatures here, and one of my favorite Planeswalkers ever, because right off the bat, the Naya deck is running a Johnny Vengeant. That is an Angry Kitty. That Angry Kitty, as a minus ability, gets to Lightning Helix someone, which is insane. It also destroys all the lands if it feels like it, because cats don't care about your stuff or anyone's stuff, mostly your stuff. And he has a solid lockdown ability too. But the main strength of the Naya deck is the fact that it has access to Bloodbraid Elf, who's going to be a recurring theme, because Cascade was broken.
A little bit.
Still is.
The Cascade effect, if you've been fortunate enough to never encounter it, is that you play the card, and then... Huh?
Nah. Be specific.
You
cast the card. You cast the spell.
Oh, fair. Yes, I see what you're getting at.
Yeah.
So Bloodbraid Elf is the relevant one.
The way that Cascade works is very particular. So
no, that's fair.
Yeah.
I guess I was taking it for granted because Magic Online doesn't really let you cheese it.
That is true. Yeah.
Bloodbraid Elf is the iconic one. 2 red and a green, so 4 converted mana cost. This matters. This matters. So you cast Bloodbraid Elf. Bloodbraid Elf, the creature pops out. Cool. Haste.
Nope.
3/2.
No, Bloodbraid Elf is still on the stack when Cascade occurs.
Would you like to talk about how this works? Again, noting that this is Magic Online.
Yeah, okay, fine. Fine, go on.
I'm trying to explain it in the simple terms. So, you've chosen to cast this creature. The creature is on the stack. At this point, before the creature enters the battlefield, the Cascade will occur. Cascade says, when you cast this spell, exile cards from the top of your library until you exile a non-land card that costs less. You may cast it without paying its mana cost, put the exiled cards on the bottom in a random order. What this means, practically, is that this 4 mana that you just spent that got you, or will get you hopefully, a 3/2 haste creature, is now going to pick a card as you make your way down from the top that costs 3 or less, which you are going to get for free. Which in this deck could be anything from Lightning Bolt and Path to Exile to take care of enemy creatures to a Woolly Thoktar, which is a 5/4. Pretty sweet. Could be a Wild Nacatl, who in this deck is going to be a 3/3. Could be all kinds of nonsense, and this is a recurring theme. And what this mechanic does is it lets you get multiple cards for very little mana, which is always the recipe for being broken.
Yep.
And most of the decks that run these effects do things like the Lightning Bolt and the Path to Exile, where essentially you've got a creature, you've just killed a creature. And that's just what they do. So the Naya deck is really good for this because the Naya deck has the removal by having access to white and red, and it has really good creatures off of green and the other stuff going on here.
And that's not all.
No, it does other stuff too.
It's also got Ranger of Eos, which goes to get 2 1-drops from your deck, puts them in your hand. Go get 2 1-drops, put them in your hand. The 1-drops in this deck are Scoop Mob, Wild Nacatl, and Noble Hierarch.
Those all seem pretty good.
Yup. And then it's got the thing that ruled Standard for, well, its entire run in Standard. The Baneslayer Angel.
Oh, yeah.
This card is really stupid.
It may or may not be an exaggeration to say that Baneslayer Angel is the first holy crap mythic warping a format.
I don't know if it was the first, but it was certainly one of the worst.
I remember there was a period of time where having 4 Baneslayer Angels in your deck was such a drastic advantage over other cards. And Baneslayer Angel was originally printed in... it was M10. It was the mythic from the first core set that had unique cards.
Yeah.
And it was part of the reason to buy that set.
It was ridiculous. And now it might only look like a big creature, and it is.
So many words on it.
But it's such a good big creature. For only 5 mana, you get a 5/5 that has flying, so it's got evasion. It's got first strike, so it always wins combat. It's got lifelink, so anytime that it's participating in combat, you are getting further and further from... You forgot to mute before you did that. You're getting
it fell over.
Further and further from death.
Baneslayer Angel knocked my cup over.
See? And then
Terrifying.
It says 2 more things. Protection from demons and from dragons, which don't matter at all. But when they do matter, they matter so much.
Well, it did matter in its time for one very funny thing, which is that in Zendikar, they printed a demon called Halo Hunter, whose job... when it enters the battlefield was to destroy target angel, and it couldn't kill the one angel that mattered.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now, I have to say, when I first started playing Magic, which was in Worldwake, as a matter of fact, it was an interesting contrast to me when I had first encountered Sarah Angel, who is a 4/4 flying vigilant angel for 3 white, and I discovered, wait a minute, for that same 3 white, I can get a 5/5 with flying, first strike, and lifelink. Sign me up.
And that's when Cluze discovered rarities.
It is, in fact, when I discovered rarities.
Yeah. So this deck, it's bizarre because it's really low to the ground, and yet it's got a heavy top end. Like it's bizarre. It's like a sledgehammer coming at you standing on its end, you know?
Yeah. And with all of those small creatures that you can throw out there with Ranger of Eos, you should also note that the deck has 1 copy of Oran Reef the Vastwood, which is a land that comes in tapped, but more importantly, aside from tapping for green, which whatever, as tap, put a +1/+1 counter on each green creature that entered the battlefield this turn, which is like having a neat little kicker effect, and it really matters when you're rocking things like 3/3s for 1 that are now 4/4s for 1. You have them in. So it's great.
Especially when you go Bloodbraid Elf into Wild Nacatl and you play a Scoop Mob and then you tap your Oran Reef the Vastwood.
Yeah.
Because they're all green and then it's it's borderline stupid. But not
Yep.
stupid enough to have multiples because it's... no, it's not legendary. It just should be, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You only really need the one.
So then let's move on.
Yep.
Then we have the originator of the deck name.
It's Jund, everybody.
It is Jund. Complete with original old school Garruk Wildspeaker. Oh my god, I've forgotten how much I love the original Garruk Wildspeaker.
Yeah, he was probably the original best Planeswalker.
He
of
was
the first 5.
definitely the original best Planeswalker. When they were first printed of the Lore 1-5, he was the best at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And he was the first planeswalker that I owned.
Nice.
Good place to start. Yeah, so the Jund deck is rocking pretty nasty top end. But first of all, just to repeat some things, got 4 Bloodbraid Elf because why play fair in this format?
Mm-hmm.
Because you're running Jund, your colors are slightly different because Jund, instead of having the white that Naya has, it has access to black, which means it gets cool stuff like goblins, but more importantly, oddly enough, Broodmate Dragon, which is a ridiculous card. Broodmate Dragon was one of the iconic Jund creatures. It's 6 mana for a 4/4 flyer that, when it enters the battlefield, creates another 4/4 flyer token. So you've got 8 power in the air for 6 mana, spread over 2 creatures.
Yeah.
It's exactly as good as that sounds.
It's one of the reasons that the Baneslayer Angels protection from dragons mattered.
Yes.
Was because of the Broodmate Dragon, which also had a hand in ruling its standard.
Yeah.
Yeah. But look at the Bloodbraid Elf interactions in this deck. You've got Putrid Leech, which is a 2/2 that is a 4/4. You've got Sprouting Threnax, a 3/3 that dies into 3/1/1s. Oh, God. You've got Rampant Growth. Play a 3/2 haste, get a land.
Yeah.
You've got Lightning Bolt. You've got Maelstrom Pulse. Play a 3/2 with haste, blow something up.
Possibly multiple somethings.
But possibly multiple somethings. But then you've got the real brutal one.
Yeah.
Blightning. Those of you that played back then know the pain of an opponent going Bloodbraid Elf, reveal a Blightning.
Yep, had it happen.
You are so far behind now.
Yeah, so Blightning for 3 mana, deal 3 damage to target player. That player discards 2 cards.
So you are up a 3/2 with haste, and they are down 3 life and 2 cards. Most likely, your goal is to get them out of cards before they can resolve a Baneslayer Angel. That was the way you did it.
Yeah. And then outside of the Bloodbraid Elf, you get Siege Gang Commander, who's so great.
Goblin.
How great is he?
Awesome.
Yeah, he is so great.
He's
Wicked
4
awesome.
goblins.
He also... Oh, there's also 2...
Throws goblins.
Dude, there's 2 manlands in this deck. I completely forgot about Lavaclaw Reaches.
Yeah.
Yeah, this deck is also running Raging Ravine, which is a manland that keeps getting bigger, and Lavaclaw Reaches, a manland that has fire breathing. Colorless fire breathing. So yeah, those are things. Yeah. And this deck is just value. It's just sheer value.
Yeah.
Which is pretty much what Jund decks are.
Yeah, if you can get the hang of playing a Jund deck, then I think you'll actually have a better ability to evaluate good decks in the future, because you'll learn how very few of these cards just happen on their own. Everything here is chosen because it plays well together, but also everything generally represents 2 avenues of attack. Like, you are constantly putting your opponent at a disadvantage while you're also putting pressure on the battlefield.
Yep.
It's amazingly disgusting.
Yeah, the Broodmate Dragon throws 2 big threats on the board with 4 power each. The Siege Gang Commander has dudes that can hit you, and if you try to deal with them, they blow up in your face and kill your stuff. The Sprouting Threnax hits you or kills things, but if you kill it, they get more things. It's everything. The Putrid Leech, its ability, pay 2 life to give it +2/+2 until end of turn, sounds so innocuous, but it's really not. It's absolutely vicious. I know, because I was playing this in a Jund deck that wasn't like this, but I was playing a Jund deck back then, and Putrid Leech was easily an all-star, because it doesn't cost mana to give it +2/+2, which is so good.
And if you're doing 2 extra damage to them at 2 of your own life, it doesn't matter because you were doing more damage to them anyway. They will die before you do.
Yeah, or if you pump it up to, help kill a thing on the board, then that 2 life, you're still ahead, so who cares?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It puts it out of lightning bolt range, which is relevant in the format.
It's a really good card.
Yep.
I'm not real big on the new art, but the old art was really weird, so...
I'm not really big on most of the new art from other printings that appears on this page.
Yeah.
But whatever the case.
All right. So the next Boogeyman?
Yeah, the next Boogeyman. It's Conscription. At the time, they called it Mythic Conscription, I think.
Yeah, but since then, we have co-opted that name for a segment on the Mana Pool, so I think we own the rights to it now.
I don't know that that's how that works.
I don't think that's how that works at all.
I'm pretty sure that's
you
not
have
how
a
it works.
lawyer. I'm not going to fight you over it.
Exactly.
Yeah. So Conscription is a deck that's built around a card called Eldrazi Conscription, which costs 8 mana for an Eldrazi aura. Seems legit, right? Enchant creature gets +10/+10 and has trample and Annihilator too.
Oh god, I forgot. Ah!
Yep. So that's a nice way to win the game, but it's also rocking Jace the Mind Sculptor, who I don't need to tell you what he does. It's messed up.
He's better than all.
And Elspeth Knight Errant, who is ridiculously good.
Yep.
If you've never seen original Elspeth, in this deck, you'll see what she does. It's disgusting. But yeah, so you're rocking a lot of mana generation in here. You've got Birds of Paradise, you got Noble Hierarch, you got Lotus Cobra, which is a weird landfall thing that makes so much mana. Much mana.
Oh god, it's got Explore and Knight of the Reliquary. Oh my god, the Lotus Cobra's stupid. Oh, and it's got fetches? Oh my god!
Yeah, there are fetches in this. This deck makes the mana to use the Conscription. So your main concept here is that you have all of these dumb mana cards that normally in the late game don't matter. But you're producing mana at such a ridiculous rate that you can actually cast things that get you there. So you've got 4 Sovereigns of Lost Alara in this deck.
That's
Sovereigns of Lost Alara is
ideally what you're ramping towards.
Yes, that's your goal. You're not going to get the Eldrazi Conscription. I mean, you can in a pinch, but your goal is to get Sovereigns of Lost Alara online, which is a 6 mana creature with Exalted, which, is kind of neat when you have all these creatures. But importantly, whenever a creature you control attacks alone, you may search your library for an aura card that could enchant that creature, put it into play attached to that creature, then shuffle your library. So you want to get out Sovereigns of Lost Alara with all this mana. You can do that. I believe in you. Now you can just attack with a creature, and that creature has been conscripted by the Eldrazi and ruins them. Those Birds of Paradise still have flying. Now it's a flying 10/10 with trample and Annihilator 2. It doesn't have to hit much.
Although the Annihilator 2 doesn't matter for the first swing, right? If you got it with the Sovereigns. Whenever a creature you control attacks alone, so it's too late for the Annihilator to trigger. But it's still a 10/11 flyer. It went from a stupid mana bird to a giant ostrich of doom.
Yes. And that is what happened. And considering you're also running, like I said, Elspeth and Jace, you've got stuff to do. You can throw it on Elspeth soldier tokens. You can, if you're not using that, you can give one of these other dumb mana dorks +3/+3 and flying to get it through. Like, it's going to get through if you have any say at all in this nonsense.
Yep.
Jace in and of himself is going to bounce whatever they've got out there. He's going to prevent them from playing the game anyway, because this is part of the reason that Cluze hates Jace. And on top of all this nonsense they have going on, you have 4 mana leak, which is an incredibly efficient counterspell. So you got all that. You got Celestial Colonnade, attacking and wrecking stuff, because it's also a flying land. You probably don't want to put Conscription on it, but if it wins the game, it wins the game.
That is true.
You've got Sajiri Step, which is going to give a creature protection of the color of your choice till end of turn, pretty much making it unblockable if at all possible. And because Conscription doesn't have a color, you don't have to worry about messing that up. There's a lot going on here. This is pretty much all these other decks are going wide and powerful and all that. You're just going to hit them twice and they're going to lose. And that's your job.
Yep.
You can always throw the Conscription on the Sovereigns of Lost Alara themselves and ruin things that way. It works out.
All right.
All right, so shall we move on to the actual big boss?
I didn't realize that there were so many decks. Yeah, we should probably not spend so long on it.
We'll go a little faster. It's just because we remember these that we have more to talk about.
That's
But yeah,
true.
so up next is Call Blade.
Emergency banning in standard.
Call Blade.
Was it an emergency banning?
Well, they had to save standard.
Okay, well, emergency banning has a different meaning.
There was a
Okay, fair
banning
enough.
in standard.
There was a banning in standard.
For the first time at all. So Call Blade was running for Jace the Mind Sculptor, who, you know, because of his ridiculous performance in this deck, was the first card banned in standard in a very long time. Along with Stoneforge Mystic, which is running 4 of, which was the other first card banned in standard in a long time.
Yep.
Stoneforge Mystic has ridiculous interactions with equipment, which is why this deck is running Source of Feast to Famine, Sword of War and Peace, and Batterskull. All of which are busted in their own right, but even more busted when Stoneforge Mystic is tutoring for them and then dropping them into the battlefield and equipping them to nonsense. The nonsense in this deck is Squadron Hawk, which was supposed to be a fun little core set card, but in practice it was you play a bird and then you get 3 other birds, and now you have all these birds. Oh god, look at all the birds, they all have swords, you're dead.
Yeah, it's really bizarre that this little... Does it cost 2? It does.
2, yeah.
It's a 1/1 flyer that says draw 3 cards.
Yeah, 3 specific cards.
But it still says draw 3 cards.
Yeah. In case you're wondering what the deal is with little Jace Beleren in this deck, it's because at the time the Planeswalker rule was that any Jace kills another Jace. Period. That was the thing. Like,
Yeah, you could only have one Planeswalker Jace on the battlefield at any given time because the Planeswalker uniqueness rule was very flavorful back then.
Yeah.
So
And
you
so-
would play your Jace Beleren to kill their Jace the Mind Sculptor, and that's the only reason.
Yeah, you played this Jace on turn 3, so that when they played their Jace on turn 4, they didn't get to use their Jace. Or if they already had a Jace out, you played a Jace Beleren, and then later you played your Mind Sculptor.
I don't think it could block.
It could what now?
Well, you said you play this on turn 3, so that on turn 4 they couldn't play theirs. I don't think that's how it
Well, no,
works.
they can play it, but they don't get to use it. And now they're down a Jace.
Why don't they get to use it?
Because they killed each other.
Yeah, all Jaces
Oh,
annihilated.
they killed
back in
each
the day.
other. Right,
Yeah.
right. It was before the rule where you got to pick the newest one stayed. They all just died.
Yep.
Yes. They just died.
Right. Okay, so yeah, you would play this on turn 3 to essentially limit them from playing their first Jace.
Yes.
Right.
Or
got
you
it.
force them to lose theirs for crap.
Okay.
That's not how it works anymore. I imagine him in here will mostly just be draw some cards. It's fun.
Yeah.
Just be aware that that's what was going on back then.
Yeah, that's why it's here in case you're confused.
Yeah. It also has like a nice control package in here. And then there's a Consecrated Sphinx because you draw the cards. So, fun time. Have fun with those triggers in Magic Online. You're probably going to have a lot of cards. Try not to deck yourself. Up next, Blue-Black Control. Hey, look, it's more Jace. Because Jace the Mind Sculptor was in everything that could run blue.
This was the Guillaume's deck. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude,
So-
watching Guillaume Wafotapa play this deck was like watching an artist work.
This is actually, one of the better control decks to learn how to play control from.
It was a beautiful thing to watch him go from I'm gonna lose to I cannot possibly lose.
Yeah, and you saw it often. Like, this deck would look like it was falling behind, and then it was like, never mind. He's stabilized. He's almost dead. No, he's fine. He's got that.
Yeah, and then he wins, and you're like, what?
Because this has a lot of killing effect. It's got a lot of counter spells. It's got Ratchet Bomb, which, does ridiculous nonsense to tokens and some other effects as you ratchet to the same thing. Like I said, you got Jace. You've got Liliana Vess. This is original Liliana who causes discard and tutors.
Yeah.
I don't know that anyone's ever used her ultimate ability in a tournament format, but something. You got 2 Grave Titans because the Titans are busted. Grave Titan in particular is a 6/6 with Death Touch who brings with him 2 2/2s, and then the next turn 2 more 2/2s, and oh my god, you're losing. Just give up. It was sick. It was just sick. You've got Duress, you've got Inquisition of Kozilek, like they don't have cards. It's fine. And then the weird thing in here, if you've never seen it before, Spreading Seas
Oh god.
is a simple looking spell that looks like it's supposed to fix mana or whatever. It turns a land into an island.
Oh god, it only costs 2. I keep forgetting.
No, it only costs 2, and it draws you a card when you cast it.
Yeah, I can't talk about it because there's no swearing on Monday Night
Yeah.
Magic.
So it's card draw. It's essentially land destruction
Yes,
because you put it on
it's
something of theirs that you don't want them to have.
Yeah. Now, to clarify, this isn't adding the ability to tap for blue. It turns it into an island. It loses whatever else it's got going on.
Yeah.
And in a mainland format with greedy mana, this is pretty much land destruction that doesn't cost you a card because you draw one.
It was so stupid.
The deck is also running for Tectonic Edge. Like, it is going to shut the opponent down. It's insane, and it's exactly what you would expect. And if we had more time, I would talk about all the sick nonsense in the board, but you'll get a feel for it if you play it. We're also in the modern era of Magic where you can look up and find videos of people playing this regularly because tournaments were happening. Magic Online was big. This is when streaming was really kicking in. This is where, demo videos are out there. You can find stuff on all of these, and it's, for the most part, still very relevant. So you can go look around for that.
So this deck in particular, it says this from Grand Prix Barcelona with Waffle Top top 8ing. You should look that up. Or the 2011 World Championships as well, but that's not this exact deck. But seriously. Watch someone that knows what they're doing play this deck.
It's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
So moving on to more ridiculous nonsense, we got Boros Stoneblade. This is a Boros deck. Cluze likes it. It has Koth of the Hammer Pants in it.
Such a good... I wish they'd bring Koth back.
Yeah.
They could actually
Koth is
reprint this Koth, and I would be over the moon. But
Koth was the first good red Planeswalker. Sad as that is to say.
Was he? I can't remember.
Chandra didn't get her
No,
acting until later.
He's pretty much right.
I can't remember when he was printed in relation to the various versions of Chandra.
He was after the second one.
Oh, yeah.
Because Chandra Ablaze was terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Koth of the Hammer is great. He shows up. Mountains wreck people. Literally, mountains are wrecking people. It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's a very aggro deck, as you can tell from the Boros part, because you're running the Stoneforge Mystic, which is going to go fetch you your Sword of War and Peace, which is broke-tastic here, or your Battle Skull, which is broke-tastic always. But you're running really efficient creatures. You've got Step Links. You've got Goblin Guide.
I love Goblin Guide.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, you got 4 Squadron Hawks to carry that sword.
Yep.
You got Mirren Crusader, who's amazing. Mirren Crusader has double strike, pro black and pro green. Ugh. So when he has pro black and pro green, and you put a Sword of War and Peace on him, he has pro everything but blue, and he's gonna double strike them, and they lost. These decks are very good at, and now you lose, because they all just have that punch through point, and once they do the thing they're here to do, it's pretty much over. Which is why it was so exciting to watch the back and forth play, because it always seemed like someone was about to win. It's running a single Hero of Oxid Ridge who does his own nonsense with Battle Cry and hoses, tokens or whatever. But yeah, you're running Lightning Bolts, you're running Dismembers, you're killing stuff, you're wrecking through, and then you've got Koth over there who's beating people with mountains. It's great. It's also got one of Original Gideon, who, as noted, is busted-tastic, and a Sword of Body and Mind and Feast and Famine in the board in case you want to pull out, a sword appropriate for protection against whatever your opponent has for your Mirren Crusader to carry. So it's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
You like blades? You want more blades? Have some Twin Blade. Twin Blade rocking, of course, Jace the Mind Sculptor, Stoneforge Mystic, Sword of Feast and Famine, Batterskull, Consecrated Sphinx, all that nonsense. But one of the really noteworthy spells about this deck was Splinter Twin. You've heard about that. It's banned now in Modern, right?
Is it?
I think so.
Hang on, my brain is completely
I think that was one of the cards that was banned in Modern. Like, that's why Modern became healthy.
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah.
It was,
banned in Modern. Confirmed.
It might have been banned. It was one of the early bans, I think.
Yeah. So Splinter Twin, if you don't know, you put Splinter Twin enchantment on something, you tap it, and makes a token that has haste, and it gets exiled at the beginning of the next end step. It's really good because this deck's also...
It is not an early ban. This one was just banned in 2016. Right. I remember now. It was banned the same time they banned Summer Bloom.
Right. Yeah. It was something that... Well, like, the twin decks were the face of Modern for a long time.
Yeah.
So that makes more sense. So yeah, in this deck, you put Splinter Twin on Deceiver Exarch, and you create, an incredibly large number of Deceiver Exarchs because, you make a copy, it untaps the one with the twin on it, you tap it, you make another one, so on and so on and so on and so on, and then you just attack and kill them. It's awesome. Look at all those tokens. You got Gataxian Probe, you got Preordained, you got all the pieces to make it work. You got Spellskite to protect things. It's nasty. All right. And then you have the actual Splinter Twin deck, which does a lot of what I just said. I don't know why they have so many variants in these things.
Oh, so it's got Splinter Twin, and then it's got the Stoneblade deck, and then the Twin Blade deck was like the weird fusion of the two. I don't know why it put them in here in this
I don't know
order.
why they included the Twin Blade one when they have the two halves, but I mean, it was a big deck. That's certainly true. But yeah, the actual Splinter Twin deck, like I said before, you have Splinter Twin, you have Deceiver Exarch combo. This one's running with Grim Lavamancer. It's got some control spells. If you see Twisted Image in this deck and you're like, why does flipping something's power and toughness matter? It's because flipping the power and toughness on a, what's it called? Spellskite kills it and draws you a card. And being able to kill a Spellskite was critical for defeating the other twin decks. You had to be able to get past that to deal with everything, or they would just combo out and kill you. Same reason you get these bounce spells, same reason that even Dispel is a thing that they're running. Like, there's a lot of control nonsense going on here. But otherwise, it's pretty similar to the thing that I just described. You've got Valakut ramp, because lands and green. Oh
my god, I'd forgotten about this deck too.
Yeah, so Valakut the Molten Pinnacle, that's, even though it has that fancy name, is not legendary.
Hang on. You fuzzed out. You said Valakut the Molten Pit, and you were gone.
Oh, Valakut the Molten Pinnacle is a land that is not legendary, even though it has a name, and that's important. It enters the battlefield tapped. Whenever a mountain enters the battlefield under your control, if you control at least 5 other mountains, you may have Valakut the Molten Pinnacle deal 3 damage to target creature or player. This deck has... What exactly was the combo at this point in time?
It was with Prime Time.
Yeah, it's just
right. It wasn't really combo. It was just good.
Yeah,
it's like, real good.
It's called Valakut Ramp because it runs 4 Explorer, 4 Rampant Growth, and 3 Colony Heart Expedition, and Oracle of Moldiah. Like, it's trying desperately to get out Valakut and a bunch of mountains so that it can go Prime Time and brutally murder your face.
Yeah.
Because Primeval Titan, because all the Titans are busted, but Primeval Titan is the one that was busted enough to get banned in Commander.
It is the most busted.
Which says, go get 2 lands, put them on the battlefield when it enters the battlefield, or when it attacks. So, I mean, they're doing it in Modern right now, so, I mean, you know what it does. It goes to get Valakuts, and then it goes to get mountains, and then it throws lightning bolts at your opponent's heads because of the Valakuts.
The damage gets out of control very fast.
Yeah.
Inferno Titan is also here. It is also throwing lightning bolts regularly.
Yeah,
Any given Titan will end the game, but these do it well.
Yeah, so it's got the Primeval Titan and Valakut thing with all the ramp, but since it's ramping, you might as well get other big stuff. So it's got the Inferno Titan, and it's got Avenger of Zendikar, which was a thing in more than just Commander, oddly enough. Which had landfall of all of your little plant dudes get a +1/+1 counter, and it makes a bunch of plant dudes when it shows up. So
yeah,
it's just another big thing to ramp into. Why not?
And it makes those late ramp cards, once you don't need them, still relevant because you're still dumping more land and those things are getting bigger.
Yeah, if you draw a Rampant Growth when you've got an Avenger of Zendikar out, it's like sweet because it's sweet.
Yeah, pretty much. You also do nonsense with Terramorphic Expanse and everything else that factored into landfall nonsense.
Yeah,
there's a lot there.
And of course, there's a Summoning Trap.
Oh, that's true, yeah. Hey, Cluze, Mono Red Shrine.
I played this deck.
I know you did. So
like,
you want
literally.
To tell people what it does?
Yeah, so you like red things? Sure, you like red things. You like relatively inexpensive red creatures like, I don't know, Goblin Guide. One of my favorites, Chandra's Phoenix. God, I loved Chandra's Phoenix.
Yeah.
It was a 2/2 flyer, cost 1 red, had flying and haste. So on turn 3, you're just hitting them with that and 2 Goblin Guides. I've done that before.
Yeah.
And if Chandra's Phoenix gets killed because it's only a 2/2 flyer, sure, that's fine. Whenever an opponent is dealt damage by a red instant or sorcery spell you control, or by a red planeswalker, which you probably don't have in this deck because this one doesn't, just take that Chandra's Phoenix, put it right back in your hand from the graveyard. That's perfectly fine. So you've got Arc Trail, Lightning Bolt, Searing Blaze. Oh, God, I loved Searing Blaze. Forked Bolt, just burn all these things. And you know what? Hey, how about Shrine of Burning Rage? Remember Shrine of Burning Rage?
I do.
We
just talked about it a couple weeks ago.
We did, in fact. Good old Shrine. Yeah, you're just ticking up those counters, hitting them with red stuff, ticking up those counters until just boom, blow them up. Just
that boom comes a lot faster than they realize, because you'll see it on the opponent's face when you're doing it. They're like, oh, that's fine. I don't need to deal with it right now. Okay, I need to deal with this other problem. Oh, I'm getting hit by goblins. And they look back again, and their life total is 9, and Shrine has 6 on it, and they know you've got a lightning bolt in hand.
Yep.
Because that's what happens.
So, yeah,
Sure
so the Shrine gets a counter at the beginning of your upkeep, or when you cast a red spell.
Which you're doing a lot of in this deck.
A lot of. And then you pay 3, tap and sack it, and deal damage equal to the number of charge counters on its target creature or player. And this was the period in Standard when Mike built his big red deck that had Koth and the Shrine of Burning Rage, and just lots of efficient red board clears and stuff. And it was not uncommon for him to go Shrine of Burning Rage, go, and watch his opponent's head sort of turn and tilt slightly, and then their eyes widen with horror.
Yeah, the math will destroy you.
Because every time you cast a spell, you're getting 2 counters if you have 2 shrines, which means that you're going to die very soon.
Yeah.
Oh, and I left out Grim Lavamancer in there because you got
don't forget
those,
that.
Yeah, you got all those fetch lands and instants and sorceries that went into your graveyard, and Grim Lavamancer just turns those into shocks.
Yeah, he just, hey, I'm gonna take this Arc Trail and I'm gonna set you on fire with it.
Yeah.
And the hero, don't forget the Hero of Oxid Ridge too. A 4/2 with haste and Battle Cry that makes weenies unable to block is way better than it sounds. It
is.
Well, it was at the time anyway.
Yeah. If you've got an idea of how good the Ember Hauler effect, or not the Ember Hauler, the Grim Lavamancer was in this deck, it's running 8 fetches and 11 mountains, and there's nothing else to fetch but mountain.
Yeah. And it was solely to, thin the deck.
You could thin the deck, and you could fill cards in the graveyard to feed the Lavamancer.
And those were the 2 reasons that they were playing 8 fetches in a mono red deck. And they were 2 very good reasons. Because people say, fetching something doesn't thin the deck in a way that matters statistically. But if you have 8 fetches, I think the numbers start to add up once you hit about 4.
The numbers start to add up, and also because you're still doing something with the cards, it's not a 0 effect.
Yeah.
They're feeding damage.
Yeah, this deck was and this deck wasn't just a mono red aggro deck, because it did that too, but it had lots of long game. Chandra's Phoenix could come back. Ember Hauler could just throw itself at your face. Lavamancer kept killing you. And then the shrines. And then the shrines.
See, that's the thing. It's one of those bits where you'll use some energy, stabilizing, but you don't know where stable is against this deck, because normally a red deck runs out of gas, but this one doesn't. You've got all these cards in the graveyard that are still a threat with Grim Lavamancer. You've got these shrines that are still ticking up, and they will hit the point where you die if you do not kill them faster.
Yeah, and it's not like the shrines stop working if you run out of cards in hand, because they're still ticking up during your upkeep, so...
Yeah.
It's a mono red aggro deck with a sense of inevitability, which is brutal.
Yeah.
And I just remembered Teetering Peaks. Oh my god. There was something wonderful about going turn 1 Goblin Guide, turn 2 Teetering Peaks, swing.
Because it was turn 2 Teetering Peaks, another Goblin Guide.
Oh yeah, there's that too.
It was messed up. But yeah, so these are the decks that are available here. As you can see, you've got a lot of control, you've got a lot of aggro, you've got a lot of ramp, you've got beat. This is actually one of the best subsets of what is Magic that you're probably going to get in one standard.
Yeah, we've got control, aggro, value, combo.
We have combo. Yeah.
Yeah, this is crazy.
It's all here. And this was about the time that I started playing standard, and it was a really exciting time to play because admittedly they picked from a few different points in time over that time period, but this just is great. Give it a shot if you're interested at all, and you'll probably have an opportunity to learn a bit more about, solid play through it, because each deck is incredibly well built. There are no throwaway cards.
We should also point out this was a really exciting time to play until Callblade happened.
Yeah.
And then they fixed it, so it became an exciting time to play again.
Yeah, that's true. Callblade was messed up.
For more about that, you can go listen to the History of the Banhammer Part 3 episode on themanapool.com, where we had Level 3 Judge Chris Lansdell on to talk about the history of the banned and restricted list. We did 3 parts. That's why that one was Part 3.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But all right, so that went for a bit. I'll speed through the rest of the Magic Online news. If you don't want to do any of that nonsense, then starting this Wednesday, you can also do the Vintage Leagues. They're kicking in. There's a link in the show notes. I've talked about these things before, but you can check out the cost and whatnot involved in that. And finally, there's a few things that have been added to the bug blog, some of which are still funny. And some of them are still as vague as ever. So, Trinisphere interacts incorrectly when 3 or more cost reduction effects apply to spells being cast. I don't know what it does incorrectly. It might, give you the finger. I have no idea. That's a very vague description. The undo function works incorrectly with Torment of Hailfire. Again, don't know what that means, but be aware. Cavern of Souls and other lands that produce mana to cast spells of a creature type only function of the name creature type is the first creature type listed in the creature spell being cast. That's a mistake.
Oh, wow.
That is straight up a huge mistake.
So if you're playing your warrior deck and you try to name warrior and you've got human warriors, you're boned.
Yeah. I also, it doesn't say it, but I imagine that means it's probably screwed up for change too.
Screwed up for what?
For changelings.
Oh, possibly. Quite
possibly. Cavern of Souls is an important card for a lot of decks. That may really matter, so be aware of that. Here's another vague one. Tanos' Coffin can hang the game in rare circumstances. And I believe it. Because Tanos' Coffin has a lot of weird text on it that I'm not going to go into right now. Because it's getting late. If you're playing with Tanos' Coffin, 1, why? And 2, no, you're not. The game is hanging. Past that, there's a giant list of things that have been fixed and a giant list of things that are still broken. For Magic Online, you should definitely keep track of all these things. Because if you encounter a glitch, then you can always ask for reimbursement. If you encounter someone exploiting a glitch, then you should report them. It's important to know these things. And in general, if your cards don't work right now, you might want to try doing something else to avoid this giant headache. They will fix it eventually. And that's it for Magic Online.
Fair enough.
It's been forever. Should we sign out?
I think so.
Probably. Yeah.
Okay. So this weekend, I'm going to be at DragonCon.
Yay!
If you're at DragonCon, you should send a message to @SqueeGoblinNabob on Twitter. There's no I in Goblin because I think I might have left it in South Carolina. It will be missed. But yeah, I'm going to be at DragonCon. If you're there, tell me you're going to be there. We can either hang out or at least be aware that we're in the same vicinity. I've not been into the game room since they moved it to the new building. I might go check that out. I know that they have a bunch of Magic stuff going on. Historically, the first few years I went to DragonCon, I went in for the giant super tournaments on Saturday. At this point in time, I don't want to spend 8 or 9 hours during a convention doing a Magic tournament, but it can be nice to go somewhere where you can just do pickup drafts and stuff like that. So check it out if you're going to DragonCon and you want to play some Magic. The schedule's listed online. You can get the app. DragonCon's a lot of fun. If you're going, bring an umbrella because it's probably going to party on. Past that, last week I did, look at the sun, but only when instructed to by Cluze. So if my eyes fall out, it's his fault.
Damn it.
But he did give me cool glasses, so I think I'm okay.
I guess say, have they fallen out yet?
I mean, not yet.
Excellent.
I mean, I left an eye in South Carolina, but it's not one of those. Right. But in general, I had a fun time, and I hope everyone else got to enjoy the eclipse in whatever manner was safe for you. And if you looked at the sun when you weren't supposed to, I hope you were impeached. Moving on, Cluze.
If you want to hear more from me, we just recorded a new episode of Random Discard where we talked about Star Wars movies. So we will surely not piss anyone off with that episode.
I wasn't invited. Boo.
You were invited, you bastard. You just couldn't make it.
Was I there? Then I wasn't invited.
But you were invited. That show is currently undergoing some editing because some swearing occurred that I've got to fix. It was not me. Wasn't me.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, it was totally Rich.
I've heard you swear before. I know you do it.
Yeah, but not in, family-friendly shows, let's say. But in the odds and ends, more on that in a minute from Chewie. You can find that here on the MTG Cast Network, as well as at randomdiscard.com. If you want to reach me directly, your best bet is always the Twitters. I'm at Lacluyze, spelled just like it is in ye olde show notes. And hey, let me just say this about the eclipse. I've seen a lot of stuff in my time. You know, I'm actually a professional.
Seen some things.
He beat me to it.
I've seen things you wouldn't believe. No, I'm not gonna keep going with that. I've seen a lot of stuff as an astronomer, and nothing that I've ever experienced prepared me adequately for what it was like to see totality at that eclipse last week. So,
Yeah.
was it really just last week? Good God,
It was.
seems
were
like a
young
lifetime
then.
ago.
I mean, not Cluze, but we were young.
Anyway, it was absolutely amazing. I got to share the experience with these two dorks here, and that was really cool.
Dude, Cluze's aunt is awesome.
She is.
She gave us cookies
She did.
and sloppy joes.
And a nice, cool place to hang out to see it. Strangely enough, I had an aunt who lives in the path of totality for this past eclipse. The next eclipse that goes through the U.S. in 2024, my wife's aunt lives right in the path of totality for that. So we're just going to bounce around to relatives is the plan. So there you go. Take it away, Chewie.
Yay! What these two nerds say is true. The eclipse. I talked about this at some amount of length on the last episode of the Mana Pool, so I won't go into too much depth, but it was, simply put, amazing. Cluze said he'd heard it described as a quasi-religious experience, and I was like, okay, Cluze, whatever you say. And then it happened, and it was a quasi-religious experience.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't do the whole religion thing. It's not for me. So I guess in my case, it was a religious experience. Like it was something, to the point where I am not actively planning. I am totally going to go drive however many hours it takes to be in the path of totality in 7 years, 6.5.
Oh, yeah.
Straight up, no question. I'm going to do it. It was amazing. And if any of you, it's going to come through Texas, if Texas is still there in 7 years, and make its way up through to Maine. So if any of you have the opportunity to be in the path of totality, do it. But plan around it because traffic will be god awful.
Absolutely atrocious. Roughly
Everyone who was somewhere for the eclipse and then tried to come back, it took about twice as long as it should. Cluze is an outlier for that because his drive was already like 12 hours.
Yeah, and instead it took 14.
Yeah,
Mine ended up being 8.
Yeah, that's nothing. It took the 3-hour drive to my apartment from where we were took 6, and then there was a more different issue for poor Bill. Mike's 4-hour drive took 8, and there were a few others that it roughly came out to double the amount of time. It was very strange. So plan for that in 7 years. It's gonna be bad. Take an extra day off. Maybe have a place to go that isn't all the way back home. Or at least have a place to go for a few hours so you're not just sitting in traffic. You can do other stuff. Trust us on this. It was bad.
It was so bad we went on a detour and drove on the other side of the Peach Butt.
It's true, yeah. I didn't think to take a picture of the other side of the Peach Butt because I was like, holy crap, this is the other side of the Peach Butt. And then we were past it. But still. Yeah. So do that. For God's sake, do that. I find myself at a loss for words again. And as you guys know, talking is basically what I do for a living. So... yeah. It gave me superpowers. I grew feelings.
He did. I saw it.
Mm-hmm. It got a weird side effect of the eclipse is it gets awful dusty afterwards.
It does. It does. Yeah. They don't talk about it much, but
yeah.
Be prepared.
But anyway, other than that, all of the usual things. We're mana pooling all the time. I'm YouTube videoing and Twitch streaming. Oh my god, today is the end of the Overwatch event, so I can go back to streaming other things. Yay! Although actually, I've been streaming a lot of Hearthstone during the event because I refuse to play Lucio Ball with 2 randos. It's bad enough with 1. That was my elbow.
Experience.
But yeah, stuff and things and also other things. I don't want to go into it. If you're a fan of the content, then you will go check it out. And if you're curious, you'll go check it out, hopefully. We're the Mana Pool and all of that. YouTube, Twitch.com/the Mana Pool, all of those. Also, Actually, I guess it's twitch.tv/themanapool. But you know what I mean. It's the website /themanapool. Twitter, Facebook, Patreon, all of that.
Maniple.
Maniple. And if you want to help support what I do with all of this stuff that I do, then check out the Patreon, where every little bit helps. And I really do appreciate it. You can hear Cluze swear.
Indeed.
Like a lot, too, this week. Damn. And I guess that'll be it. So this has been episode 574 of Monday Night Magic. Thank you all so very much for listening, and go play some Magic.